Okay, folks. So, I have another one of these witness testimony videos here. This was testifier number 5, I believe. And his name is Jeffrey Stevens, and he mentioned some interesting stuff. So, I just want to add in a little bit of advice on some of the stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and play it. But I'm gonna pause it and stuff. Because I did look up a little bit of additional information that I want to share too. But I'll put this full video clip here right at the end of this introduction video here. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting, some of the stuff that he says.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey Stephen of the House of Jarrett. Now you put a face with a name. I am the one that sues this group, and
He's the one that sues this group.
I'm holding you accountable.
Jeffrey Stevens, when you introduce yourself like that and you say something like, now you have a face to go with the name, I don't have any other choice but to kind of research and see what that's all about. So I did do a little bit of digging on the Jeffrey Stevens, where he mentioned something about he's the guy that sues them. And I was able to find this little bit of information here from a lawsuit that he had filed back June 14th of 2021. And it starts with the latest date. So I'm going to go scroll down here to the first filing real quick here. And it says here, complaint, federal claim, emergency injunction, and other relief against all defendants, filed by Jeffrey Stephen of the House of Jarrett. Attachments: number 1, Memorandum A, repudiation and affidavit of non-response. Number 2, Memorandum B, authenticated birth certificate. 3, Memorandum C, affidavit of truth and assertory oath, etc. Number 4, Memorandum D, notice of default for lack of response to affidavit of truth and assertory oath. Number 5, Memorandum E, data on deaths in Hawaii due to COVID-19 and influenza. That's kind of curious. Number 6, Memorandum F, a brief on violation of Article 1 of the Constitution. Number 7, Memorandum G, brief on continual retention of rights and actions to proclaim them. Number 8, Memorandum H, briefs in support of this tort claim. Number 9, Memorandum I, brief on corruption within branches of federal government. And number 10, Memorandum C, defendants listed as 1 through 7. So, looks like he filed it. Filing fee $402, huh? I know there was one of these filings where it said something about them not like bringing him any harm or something. This is it here. Filing number 37, 7/15/2021. Pro se plaintiff Jeffrey Stephen of the House of Jarrett filed a ECF number 36, motion to compel judicial boundary / default and abjuration of the realm. A 2-page document which, even when liberally construed by the court, completely fails to constitute an intelligible pleading. The motion alleges in conclusory fashion that the court, along with opposing counsel and Attorney General for State of Hawaii, have committed fraud upon the United States District Court, District of Hawaii, constituting criminal contempt of court, and states that Jeffrey Stephen of the House of Jarrett is not to be coerced, intimidated, abused, battered, stalked, harassed, or otherwise harmed by any court officer, court clerks, any official, or any other minions thereof in illegal manner or manner. The court is unable to determine what relief is sought and against whom the fraud is alleged. Given that the district court is the United States District Court of the District of Hawaii, further, allegations of fraud are properly brought forth in the complaint and not in a motion. The court also cannot find that a criminal contempt occurred in this civil case. A civil complaint cannot be used to state a claim for the violation of a criminal statute or law. Then it cites one of these. Provide no basis for civil liability. To the extent plaintiff has captioned the document as a motion, the same is denied. Plaintiff is reminded that all litigants, including those proceeding pro se, are obligated to follow the rules. LR 1.3. In this case, the motion does not conform with LR 10.2 and is in violation of federal laws. Plaintiff is cautioned that failure to follow the rules may result in sanctions, including a fine or dismissal of the case. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Fraud upon the court, contempt of court, criminal acts. I don't know. The final filing says a mission statement or a proof of service of findings, facts, and conclusions law, notice of unacceptable mail, notice upon the court, correct electronic service upon the court clerk, filed by Jeffrey Stephen. Yeah, I don't know, folks. It's interesting that it would meant that he mentioned something in the initial filing about COVID and wanting data on deaths in Hawaii due to COVID-19 and influenza containing that. Yeah, I don't know. This guy seemed to I don't know. It was quite an interesting testimony, especially when he got to the part where he was, testifying to his personal experiences with life and death and all of that. And so,
And the reason being, legislation will not bring back the dead nor the harm. There are hundreds of people that are not allowed onto the property except strangers to the EPA are sifting through their sacred property.
And that's not right, really. And what he says here is kind of curious.
Sacred ground, and they are not being investigated. This same material is then removed from the site and supposedly being sent to the mainland.
Yeah, I showed a little bit of information about that before too. That really should be questioned.
That should be of high concern to you, because if this chamber, who addressed this same issue in 2018, is allowing people from out of our country, the nation of Hawaii.
Did you catch what he said there? I mean, I understand the outside of our country because there are foreign agents from other countries making investments in these, rebuilds from these disasters in our country, but he says the nation of Hawaii?
Who addressed this same issue in 2018 is allowing people from out of our country, the nation of Hawaii.
The nation of Hawaii.
Or the state of Hawaii.
And then the state of Hawaii in quotation marks. So I think that's kind of curious.
To abscond this information, because I guarantee you, none of you know exactly what's responsible for this fire. None of you do. And because of that, it's a crime scene. And if it's a crime scene and they're removing the product or spraying product on it, the EPA sprayed product on it.
Yeah, he's right there. It really, until the investigation is concluded, they should not be removing anything from it and taking it away from the island. And in this day and age, when we have the scientific research and development advances that we have and the technology that we can apply, you can make and set up portable, research stations where they can test the soils and do everything that they need to do right there on that island, right on the spot. So we really should be questioning them bringing stuff like, from Hawaii and from the fire over here to the mainland. He is definitely right about that.
And then they're removing product from it. You don't know if it's an accelerant from chemtrails, whatever those things are.
Yeah, whatever those trails are.
If it was malfeasance by the electrical department, Hawaii Electric, Maui Electric, same company. Or if it's malfeasance by maladministration, because I, as a builder, I'm licensed in electrical, plumbing, general contracting. I'm licensed to remove asbestos, toxic metals, and lead. And I can guarantee you, I've seen pictures of these people doing their thing, and they are not in hazmat suits that qualify for them to remove lead from a house, let alone toxic waste. Yet they are.
Yeah, that's kind
You
of
don't
curious.
know what is going on. And they're basically, because of that, it's a crime scene, and they are manipulating, taking material from it. Under Title 18 USC for malfeasance and a form of fraud.
Yeah, he's kind of right there. I mean, until they know for certain, it is kind of an investigative, crime scene, so.
You now know that this has gone on, and because of that, you must do an estoppel immediately, so you can have a true investigation from outside sources that are not from someone that, whether it's a directed energy weapon or chemicals coming down.
He said it.
Immediately, so you can have a true investigation from outside sources that are not from someone that, whether it's a directed energy weapon or chemicals coming down or the electrical department not having the correct size bulbs up or the administration not demanding that it's done right or this group not demanding it's done right. You have a responsibility.
And now this is the part here. I want to pause it and say something really quick, folks. I don't want to offend anyone. But what he says next, I believe that he believes what he's saying. Anyway.
Not just to me. I come in the name of Yeshua. You have a responsibility before God.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said something like that, dude. I'm just saying, that's my advice. And I got advice a long time ago from a very well-respected and accredited law professor that I did some work for, some bookkeeping and some babysitting and some housing repair work for years ago. And, I was advised, don't bring up God in the court or bring up God in your religious belief system with any of these governmental agencies, because immediately you will be dismissed as not really stable. And those weren't really the words that she used exactly, but more or less, you may like swear on the Bible to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth when you go into courts. And yeah, we see in God we trust everywhere, but these governmental bodies and these agencies, they don't respect that belief system. They don't believe any of this stuff, or put faith in any of this stuff that has that's rooted in a faith-based system. So while I agree with Mr. Stevens here on some of the points that he's making about it being a crime scene and they should not be removing materials, and how it's looking a little bit like maybe it was influenced by outside actors using certain weapons and certain, chemicals and different things like that, and accelerants and stuff like that. It certainly is very suspicious if you ask me. But bringing his religion and faith into it, that's we don't need that in this fight against the weather warfarians. And I know some of you might take offense at that and you don't want to hear that, but that's the facts. That's the bottom line. They won't listen when we present ourselves in that fashion. They just won't. They have no respect for it. Okay. And as with this debate and this fight with the weather warfarians to find accountability and get them to stop doing some of the stuff that they're doing, you have to leave that stuff out of it. You just do.
You're going to all account before a living God, and trust me. You see the scar on my face? I died at the age of 15 months. I drowned at the age of 3. I've had other things that have happened. I know the other side exists, so please, for the children's sake that did not get to speak because they were incinerated, investigate this whole thing.
That's terrible. I mean, just the thought of it is just horrific. And, like I said, because I'm repetitive, I have to say it again. I believe this man believes every word coming out of his mouth, and I can certainly respect that. But it does not belong in the discussion of launching investigations into this criminal activity that these weather warfarians are perpetrating on everyone here at ground level.
Stop them. Go in immediately. Take information out so you can find out exactly who, what, and how it actually happened, so it doesn't happen again. Hello, my name is Jeffrey Stephen of the House of Jarrett. Now you put a face with a name. I am the one that sues this group, and I'm holding you accountable. And the reason being, legislation will not bring back the dead nor the harm. There are hundreds of people that are not allowed onto the property except strangers to the EPA are sifting through their sacred property and sacred ground, and they are not being investigated. This same material is then removed from the site and supposedly being sent to the mainland. That should be of high concern to you, because of this chamber, who addressed this same issue in 2018, is allowing people from out of our country, the nation of Hawaii, or the state of Hawaii, to abscond this information, because I guarantee you, none of you know exactly what's responsible for this fire. None of you do. And because of that, it's a crime scene. And if it's a crime scene and they're removing the product or spraying product on it, the EPA spraying product on it, and then they're removing product from it, you don't know if it's an accelerant from chemtrails, whatever those things are, or if it was malfeasance by the electrical department, Hawaii Electric, Maui Electric, same company, or if it's malfeasance by maladministration, because I, as a builder, I'm licensed in electrical, plumbing, general contracting. I'm licensed to remove asbestos, toxic metals, and lead. And I can guarantee you, I've seen pictures of these people doing their thing, and they are not in hazmat suits that qualify for them to remove lead from a house, let alone toxic waste. Yet they are. You don't know what is going on. And they're basically, because of that, it's a crime scene, and they are manipulating, taking material from it. Under Title 18 USC for malfeasance and a form of fraud. You now of that, you must do an estoppel immediately so you can have a true investigation from outside sources that are not from someone that, whether it's a directed energy weapon or chemicals coming down or the electrical department not having the correct size bulbs up, or the administration not demanding that it's done right, or this group not demanding it's done right. You have a responsibility, not just to me. I come in the name of Yeshua. You have a responsibility before God. You're going to all account before a living God. And trust me, you see the scar on my face? I died at the age of 15 months. I drowned at the age of 3. I've had other things that have happened. I know the other side exists. So please, for the children's sake that did not get to speak because they were incinerated, investigate this whole thing. Have an estoppel. Go in immediately. Take information out so you can find out exactly who, what, and how it actually happened, so it doesn't happen again.